Hey guys, this is your boy 4ID. I'm an artist and a visual designer, and today we're going to be doing something kind of different. We're going to be reacting to a video because I'm in a position where I'm just watching videos and I feel like, okay, we can try something new. And now we're watching a video on why art or why oil paint is so expensive. So expensive. And this is a video by Business Insider. It has about 19 million views, so I don't know how that's going to go, but let's see how this goes. I feel like this might be interesting because I really want to know why oil paint is this expensive. So let's go ahead with the video. Thanks for listening. Ish.
Oil paint is simple. At its most basic, it's just a mixture of oil and pigment. But depending on the color and quality, a liter of this paint could cost you between $285 and $1,000.
Damn.
So what is it that makes this paint so special?
So I don't know.
And why is
1
it so
liter.
expensive?
What does 1 liter look like? 1 liter is about. So I know what 5 liters look like because that's a gallon. A small gallon. So 1 liter should be like a bit 1,000. I don't know whether this particular paint, but I don't think the oil paint I know is that expensive. I think I use Winton oil, so I don't think it's that expensive actually, but it might be.
Oil paint has been used for hundreds of years. It's made from a drying oil like flaxseed and pigment, sometimes with fillers and thickeners added. When mixed and crushed, these ingredients bind and thicken to form a permanent paint. While the rise
That
of
looks
oil
like
paint is
juice.
associated with the Renaissance, paintings using poppy seed oil have been dated as far back as 7th century Afghanistan.
So
But there's one
apparently, it was Leonardo that started the whole oil craze. He obviously wasn't the father of oil. He wasn't the first person to use oil paint, as I think is the case. So whatever I'm saying, just take it with a grain of salt because I'm not a real art historian. I'm just something that someone who's enthusiastic about it. I did minor in art history, but I can't really put myself as an art historian or say that I know a lot about art. So I think Da Vinci started it, and then this. No, he didn't start it. He just made it something different because before then, I think what they were using was I don't know. I don't know. Da Vinci. Am I talking about fresco? I think Da Vinci actually started oil, or didn't start it. He went deep in. Oh, I'm just rambling at this point. So
key reason this paint hasn't
let's
ever
go
been
ahead.
cheap. Pigments cost a lot of money.
So in a good oil paint, you're going to be looking for high pigment loading and a good quality pigment in that high pigment loading. So it doesn't matter if you have loads of pigment if it's a bad quality pigment. You're looking for light fastness so it doesn't fade, and tests on light fastness that have been going on for generations, in fact, for some pigments. So you're not going to create a masterpiece and then 50 years down the line, it's completely washed out.
I think that was the main issue with Da Vinci's works, and that's why the Mona Lisa is the way it looks at this point. Apparently, that's why the Mona Lisa looks the way it looks because he was one of the pioneers of the oil paint, or the not the first person. Like I said, it was something that was kind of new at the time when he started Renaissance art. So the way his art aged wasn't as well as the others because he was doing a lot of experimental artworks. So most of his artwork didn't really age well. So I think that was the problem with oil, and that's the reason why oil is better now because they've probably gone deeper into it and started studying it more often. So that's
The
my
highest
two take.
quality oil paint can be up to 75% pigment. And throughout history, the most sought after pigments have been worth far more than their weight in gold. And that's because they take a lot of work to discover and to make. The favorite imperial color in Roman times, Tyrian purple, was a bright pigment made from the glands of sea snails, and it could take 12,000 snails to make just 2 grams of the color. Indian yellow was originally made from the urine of cows fed only on mango leaves.
Damn.
And in the 16th to 19th centuries, mummy brown was actually made with the ground up remains of Egyptian mummies. And
Well,
while the color was
that actually
perfect for
puts
some flesh
into
tones, we
perspective. Like whenever I see a color, I'm like, where are they getting this color? Obviously, when I started, I was always thinking it was chemical, but you really don't know like what kind of chemical is there. And now you're watching it, you're like, wow, there's actually a lot of things that goes into creating colors, and even down to the caveman era where they started using like probably yellow and probably I think they used yellow and was it red? Obviously red because of blood, but I don't know about yellow. I'm not very sure. I think they use something closer to the umber color. But imagining that and seeing how much idea is put into how they create pigments, that's actually crazy. In case you're wondering why I'm rambling on this video, I'm watching it. This is my first video, and I don't really know how reaction videos work. I'm trying as much as possible not to get a copyright claim, so please bear with me if you think I'm yapping a lot. So thank you very much.
Ran out of mummies to use.
Pigments do dramatically change the cost, and in professional levels, you'll have series. So you'll have probably series 1, well, up to series 7. The higher the number, the more expensive it is. And that's due to the pigments, how difficult they are to obtain, where they come from, and also how in demand they are as a product in the real world.
So I guess white is more
Possibly the most valuable
harder.
was ultramarine, literally meaning beyond the sea, as it had to be mined in Afghanistan. It was made from lapis lazuli, which in its purest pigment form
Sorry,
can still
what did
cost
you
up.
say?
Most valuable though was ultramarine, literally meaning beyond the sea, as it had to be mined in Afghanistan. It was made from lapis lazuli, which in its purest pigment form can still cost up to $30,000 per kilo. The gemstone was used to make the pigment.
Wait, am I watching the wrong video? Because now I'm hearing like prices that I never thought was possible. What the hell is $30,000 per kilo for? Maybe I'm just broke. Maybe I'm broke, I guess. But watching this is actually very weird. I won't lie.
synthetic version was created in 1826.
$30,000
Vibrant blue
per
was
kilo.
valued so highly in the Renaissance that it was generally reserved for painting the robes of the Virgin Mary.
That's actually
Synthetic
very
versions of many of
beautiful.
these pigments have now been created. And while this means many are cheaper, some can still be difficult to produce. Cobalt blue, for example, has to be made by heating its components to 1,200 degrees Celsius. And once you have these pigments, they're tricky to work with. Winsor & Newton has been making oil paints for almost 200 years, and its factory in France produces over 5 million litres of paint each year.
5 million liters.
In fact, produce paint is like cooking. So we have mixing. So we are mixing components like pigments and other additives like oil.
I think I need a headphone for this if I'm going to go ahead, because I'm not really hearing what these guys are saying.
So we're using
I'm not hearing
additives like oil.
much.
We have then milling. So it depends. We're using different type of machines. So we're using granite, ceramic, or steel. Then we are testing. Okay, so testing the viscosity, the grain, and of course the color.
The hell is this guy
The
saying?
whole process
I swear I didn't hear much. I swear
is
to
so
God.
select. So for every single pigment, you need to handle it in a particular way. So it will need a particular amount of oil with it, and that ratio changes for every pigment. And you're going to need to grind it to a particular fineness. And actually, even with the same pigment, the milling and the grinding will affect the color you have. So if you overgrind, you might end up with something duller. Or with another color, if you grind it very fine, you might end up with a purple rather than a blue.
The research and testing for these colors can take months or even years to get right. Small samples of each color are made in a lab to measure consistency and light fastness. Above all else, the quality of oil paint needs to be reliable, as professional artists need to guarantee that what they're working on now will last for hundreds of years.
Yeah,
And
that's
despite comparative-
that's one of the biggest issues when it comes to oil paints. Because when I first started, I remember as a kid, I painted one. I did some painting, a couple of painting, and I'm very scared that some of the works I did is molding up in some people's houses, because I used to paint and I would use that small size of the smaller oil paints, the one something. I don't know that I have it here, but this is a Winsor & Newton product. But the one I had at the time was more of a very low budget one. I'm not really sure of the price or the name of the name of the oil paint, but it was kind of bad. So I wouldn't lie, it's really affected most of my work. I remember going to one of my cousin's places and seeing my paintings and noticing the mold on it, and most of them cannot last. That's one of the biggest issues when it comes to using a wrong oil paint. So this painting behind me was made in acrylic, and that's something I like. I enjoy acrylic. Why? Because I don't really like smudgy paintings. I don't really like painting and then it starts molding up and having different issues and everything. But when I did this, there was a lot of back and forth with it because it was drying up, and it's unusual because I'm not supposed to be doing something detailed with acrylic, but I did it and I enjoyed it. I liked it. But when it comes to oil paints, I hope this one lasts. I think acrylic doesn't really have any problem with molding, but when it comes to oil paints, it really needs a very good texture. It really needs very good quality in order for it to last the test of time. So
New
that's
paints
nice.
like acrylic, oil still remains an artist favourite.
We've still got works that are still beautiful and relevant from the 15th century. And it's durable and it has this ability to layer where you can scrape back, you can keep working, you can work on a piece for years and keep on redoing it. And it gives every piece this history, and the materials themselves are expensive, they're reliable.
Oil is actually very beautiful.
They're gorgeous. I mean, they come out of the painting at you.
Oil is very beautiful. The only issue is just that smudginess. I don't really enjoy seeing smudgy paintings, but it's actually very nice to see. Okay, let me know what you liked about whether you like this video. Let me know whether you like the reaction. Thank you very much for listening. I'll go and edit this one and see how it works. And hopefully I'm going to do another React video, or this is something that I just do quite more often. But thanks for listening. I'm In4ID, and see you next time. Peace.